Renaissance was a period of all-inclusive, distinctive philosophical transition. The remains of the Roman and Greek antiquity were considered as a treasure trove that modern times could resort to in order to make up for the loss that happened since the Roman Empire's fall. In Renaissance, ancient philosophy regained its value in the eye of Europe. A new philosophical culture was developed by tapping the resources of ancient texts. Primary sources of Greek and Roman thought received special attention. Aristotelianism lost its unique position, and Stoicism, Neoplatonism, Epicureanism, and Skepticism received renewed attention. Aristotle's works were read under a new light, using new interpretive tools. There was a return to the method and understanding of philosophy in the classical tradition. Hellenistic philosophy became popular among philosophers, which revolved on a return to the classics. Also, there was a rise of generation of philosophers of nature. According to the 16th century philosophers of nature, Aristotle's picture could not explain nature anymore. Bernardino Telesio, a naturalist philosopher, grounded his philosophy on empiricism. Philosophy of nature was based on the tenet that nature should be understood by a sense perception and empirical scrutiny. Unlike Aristotle, the only concepts that Telesio presupposed were passive matter and the two principles of heat and cold. Criticism of Aristotle by nature philosophers such as Telesio, Campanella, Patrizzi, and Bruno undermined this philosopher's teachings. However, it was the 17th century new philosophy that finished it off and dominated European thought for a new age. Humanism was constituted as one of the revived trends in the Renaissance. Some humanists were in favor of modifications in Christianity. Renaissance humanist Christians did not consider Scholasticism as a good foundation for Christian life. Scholasticism is a philosophy which was popular in the medieval times. Humanists called for huge alterations in philosophy and searched for old texts that intensified philosophical disharmony. They were not interested in metaphysics and epistemology. Aristotle's philosophy was criticized because it was deemed useless and ineffective in planning and developing a good life. Renaissance has been very much praised and depicted as a rebirth of art and culture, initially in Italy. It includes disparagement of the Middle Ages. It is generally claimed that Renaissance paved the way for the rise of culture and art. Adventure and the discovery of new territories were also significant parts of this period in history. Religious reformation was also a characteristic of this period. This was initiated by John Calvin and Martin Luther. Unjustifiably, the progress of science and technology is linked to Renaissance, which is symbolized by Copernicus' heliocentric world, the theory which puts the sun in the center of the world. Renaissance thinkers mainly paid attention to philosophy of nature, embracing science, metaphysics, occultism, political philosophy, moral philosophy, and psychology, and theory of knowledge. Renaissance, however, does not present the philosophy as influential as the medieval and modern periods. Aristotle and Plato had the largest impact. Generally, Renaissance writers described the medieval philosophy as idle sophistry and their Latin as barbaric in comparison to Cicero's courtly style. Classical philosophers were translated and commented on during this period. This caused the rise of revivalist schools, such as Neoplatonic Academy in Florence, established by Ficino. However, it is always ignored that the post-Renaissance worldview and philosophy looked at religion critically. But Renaissance, Enlightenment, and science, or better say, scientism, have not been treated the same. These are the dogmas of the new superstition, and the scientists are the new witches. Is it possible to reject the new university dogma and lead a happy life? If anybody has this belief, they can challenge the new dogma. It is worth noticing that not even one of the schools springing from Renaissance has been successful in its project. Mechanism, materialism, rationalism, empiricism, naturalism, positivism, logical empiricism, physicalism, and Bayesians all attracted attention in the face of criticism of the previous schools and crumpled up in the face of critical analysis and refutation.